What if we were to tell you that the Penguin's criminal empire is just scratching the surface of the true conspiracy that Gotham has to offer? The criminal underworld goes so much deeper. Right now, little is known about the Batman Part 2 for certain, but over the months, fans of the franchise have put together something of a wish list for the universe. Characters, story arcs, and events that could be adapted are very compelling fashion for this universe in particular, and with a hint in the Penguin, we believe that the next villain of the Batman will be the Court of Owls. But who are the Court of Owls, and how are they the masterminds behind the corruption of Gotham City? Behind the curtain, Gotham City's political network is controlled by an elusive cabal of individuals known as the Court of Owls. For decades, they have run their own government just beneath the surface of Gotham, and their decisions are carried out across the city under the guise of official operations. The court determines how criminal networks are permitted to operate, how the government runs, who gets elected, and for what purpose. In essence, the people of Gotham are living under the illusion of free will, when in actuality, every one of their decisions have been carefully scripted to comply with the objectives of the court, and those who defy what the court decrees will be quietly silenced. The exact origins of the court are shrouded in mystery, but by design, since they have very few written records that can place them anywhere in Gotham's history. The entire point of the organization is that they are completely invisible, which means cleansing the history books across the city, though one particular telling of the story claims that they are an offshoot of the tribe of Judas. Over the years, they have assimilated some of the wealthiest and most influential people in Gotham within their ranks, and they use a legion of enforcers known as Talons to be their field agents. These chemically enhanced super assassins have pledged eternal loyalty to the court, and have plagued Gotham City for centuries. In the Court of Owls saga, beginning with the issues Knife Trick and Trust Fall, Bruce Wayne announces his plan to completely overhaul Gotham's infrastructure and provide personal funding for Gotham's renewal. This is one of Bruce's largest projects that was specifically designed to not just fight crime, but to help the city's internal system begin to heal. The Court of Owls took great notice, because where there is poverty and crime, there is control. And if people had the means to pull themselves out of the harshest conditions of Gotham, then they would begin to amass disproportionate amounts of social and political power. They would tip the scales, and in order for the court to maintain control, Gotham had to be kept down. And so the court sent one of their Talons to assassinate Bruce Wayne. But of course, that didn't go so well. After defeating the Talon, Bruce Wayne noticed the mark of the Athenian owl, and at this point in the story, even Bruce Wayne considered the Court of Owls to be a legend. He had once attempted to track them down as a child, but decided that the organization was nothing more than a ghost story, one told to keep the people of Gotham docile. The fact that the organization was large and this powerful and was able to remain hidden from Batman himself should paint a very clear picture of just how deeply entrenched in the shadows this group really is. By all practical means, they are completely invisible, and the point of their story is to illustrate that Batman, someone who would seem to know every corner and operation of the city of Gotham, is completely in over his head. This could play very nicely into the universe which has been created in Matt Reeves' Batman, which is placing much more emphasis on the corruption of Gotham rather than other adaptations. The distrust of Gotham's public officers is deeply ingrained in the thematic elements of both the Batman and the Penguin, and this would be the logical next step in Batman's quest to root out corruption at its very source. He knows the politicians are not servicing the people of Gotham at all, and that the police are not honest. But what he does not yet know is that the entire city is nothing more than a puppet show. In some iterations of this story, the Waynes themselves have had varying levels of association with the Court of Owls, though they are usually not depicted as card-carrying, full-time members of the club, and rather simple associates. There are whispers and theories that Thomas may have been involved, but nothing has ever been firmly proven. Bruce's own great-grandfather, the founder of Wayne Enterprises, Alan Wayne, was pursued by the Court of Owls, which proves that they date as far back to the American Civil War. But again, their exact origins don't have much in the way of concrete evidence depending on the depiction. Eventually, the group caught up and murdered Alan Wayne, which became part of the investigation that Batman conducted in the Court of Owls story. We know that one of the darkest twists from the Batman is that Bruce is not protecting the legacy that he believed in, the one that he thought Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne was. His fight for justice is based on the idea that Thomas and Martha were good people who were gunned down in a senseless, random act of violence, and in doing so, he defied his parents' memory. He placed them on a pedestal and isn't representative of who they really are. But Bruce found this out the hard way in the Batman, when Carmine tells him the story of Edward Elliot. The way Carmine tells it, it was Edward that was investigating Martha's several stints in Arkham, and Thomas wanted to cover up the story that could be a scandal for his mayoral campaign. When he went to Carmine, he ended up having the reporter killed to cover up the truth, and this made Bruce question the entire motive for his quest to become Batman. We're not suggesting that in this universe Thomas Wayne should be a member of the Court of Owls, just that Bruce's faith could be shaken even more if he learns the depths of Gotham's corruption, and how the court has an unchallenged grip over everything in the city. This could also end up tying into the story of Bruce's first ward, that being the original Robin, Dick Grayson. In the aforementioned story, where Bruce had an assassination attempt levied against him, it was revealed that the assassin was actually Grayson's own great-grandfather, who had been preserved through the chemical enhancements that the court was giving to their talons. If Dick Grayson is going to make an appearance in this universe, which has been theorized, then it would be interesting to also give him a personal connection and some sort of tie to the Court of Owls in order to create a through line. When Bruce was finally able to track them down, he was lured into an elaborate labyrinth buried deep beneath the streets of Gotham. This was no normal maze. It was so elaborate that it left Batman himself with more than a week without food. He began hallucinating, but eventually overpowered the Talons that were sent to kill him. And we know that in the Reeves universe, they are committed to grounding Gotham in a way that makes the city continue to feel tangible. Reeves himself has stated that his Batman will never get too comical or fantastical, but that doesn't mean that the court in the comics is immune for such a treatment. In the original source material, the court is actually just one branch of an internal cabal known as the Parliament of Owls, and the Parliament is a distant descendant of the tribe of Judas as mentioned before. What we did not mention though was that the tribe of Judas rose to power through worship of Barbados, the multiversal Bat God, which we do not see happening at any point in the future in Matt Reeves' universe. A multiversal collective, however, is still possible. But if Batman's stories are going to mainly revolve around the welfare of Gotham, then we believe if the court is introduced, they will likely be a city-sized collective, rather than obviously a global organization. We have talked before in depth about what makes this version of Gotham so special, so we'll only touch on it briefly here. The audience is just as invested in the future of Gotham as we are in the future of Batman. We want to see how syndicates like the Penguin will clash with the Batman, how his quest to clean up the city continues, so removing Batman from Gotham completely gets rid of his mission. This version of Batman belongs in Gotham because this is the heart of the quest, so we don't see Batman venturing into other countries in order to collapse the Parliament of Owls. This brings up the interesting question regarding the death of the Waynes, and whether or not it was actually orchestrated by the court. We don't believe that Thomas was a member, since again, he's usually not depicted that way in the comics. There's also no hints in this in the Batman, which means that his renewal fund or his promise to reshape the city may have been what caught the attention of the court initially. After all, this is the very same type of philanthropy that got Talon sent after Bruce Wayne in the comics. But there is one reason why we believe this will not be true. The death of the Waynes was designed to be a senseless, random act of unpredictable violence. By showing the Waynes being killed by the conditions of Gotham, it illustrates just how broken the city is on a fundamental level. Why crime is such a massive problem for the people living there. Batman's quest is to clean up these acts of senselessness, so having Thomas and Martha's death have some meaning and greater purpose. And to have that all be a pre-planned event by the court does not make sense for the Batman character. Leaving the Wayne's death multiple choice is the best option. But my friends, what are your thoughts on the inclusion of the Court of Owls in the Matt Reeves universe? Do you think it was hinted at in the courtroom with the Penguin? And are the Court of Owls designed to be the major overarching threat for the Batman? As always, my friends, subscribe to the channel for more DC and Marvel lore, and have a phenomenal day.